Hi guys, this is skittflash here, and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 3 FES. This part we're going to be going to Tartarus, but to do that we need to talk to Fuka. Now where could Fuka possibly be? Oh, you know, not in the door, not in the lobby, you know, just to confuse us. She's on the 3rd floor. I hate it when people do this. But she's talking to good old Yukari. What is she talking about? Mitsuru, of course. That's all she ever talks about, that. I swear you talk about Mitsuru so much, to the point where it's kind of very obsessive. You think so, Hikari? I think, you know, gosh. It's starting to get annoying. You know what the problem is she doesn't have enough Minato social link in her life. She needs to know some of the minty freshness so she can stop being a weird person. That was a weird thing to say. But whatever. So Tartarus stuff. Don't you love it? We're gonna be here for the next 3 parts, maybe? I don't know. We're actually gonna be doing a lot of stuff. I'm actually very proud of it, actually. It's the pinnacle of, like, you know, getting better at this game. Something to mention is, as the game progresses, you get tired less and less. I want to, like, sort of, I don't know if it's, I don't know what it's based on. Maybe, like, every time you get tired, it takes longer for you to get tired, or maybe it's based on a stat or something. But no matter the case, we want to do some persona fusing to, you know, we need new personas to counter the new shadows. The first one I want to make is Vitala. You did with the triple star fusion, or you can make Vitala a lot of different ways. I'm only doing it this way as to not waste some of the personas I still want. Another thing I mentioned, that it's actually a quest to make a Vitala with Maragi, which you can easily do by fusing Huapo with anything that gives you a Vitala. And I'll do that later, not now. Right now I want to make a Pale Rider by fusing that Vitala, and I want to make sure he has, Doll Fang. I think Double Fang. I think it was called. Yeah, that one. Double Fang. I want to make sure he has that. He already know Mudo, and he already naturally know Garula. So, I was making sure that my Vitala knew Mudo and Garula just to pass it off, but he knows it anyway, so that's kind of pointless. And, you know, that's just how fusion works. Oh my god, like, I must admit, like, Shimigami Tensei 4's fusion kind of spoils me in that regard. Just because, you know, you can assign any skills you want and you don't have to keep on doing, like, the back and forth thing, like when I want to make this Takeminazuchi. Although this Takeminazuchi is perfectly fine, actually. Tarunda and Tarukadra, that's good enough. And because we actually have a social link with that, we actually get points, unlike, you know, the level 1 social link and the level non-existent social link, like with Vitala and What's-Her-Face. So we want to Takeminazuchi because of its electricity abilities, I guess. Because it has Zionga. Gotta love getting those tier 2 spells. It feels so much better. It always feels awesome when you, like, when you learn, like, you know, when you, like, climb the ladder of spell learning. Because, you know, it's just like, you're growing. Yay. Soon all those tier 1 spells will become obsolete and you'll never have to use them again. Unless, you know, you happen to be really out of it. SP for some reason. I can't really see that being a thing, because we have a ton of SP as it is right now. And we're going to accept the quest that, you know, involve picking up random items. Again, that kill enemies on the floors we're going to be on. Again, if you just kill the enemies without taking the quest, you won't get the quest item, which is perfectly understandable. I mean, when the hell, like, hey, look, these enemies have some pretty greasy gears on them. Maybe we should take them. No, no one thinks that. Actually, no, that's kind of a lie. Every other RPG just thinks of randomly pillaging your dead foes, but, you know, whatever. These guys are high school students. They know. They can think logically, sort of. I'm not sure how to do that. So we're going to be going not to floor 59, but to floor 64, where the barrier was. Just cutting to that, because there's nothing interesting there. And again, the barrier is unobstructed. Yay, no more bamboo. So now we can keep on going forward. So, up to the newest block. This is actually a new block as opposed to just a new floor. Which means we get a cool, nifty scenery change. Look at this. I always like showing off, like, when the scenery changes, because everything's different? I mean, in reality, everything's still exactly the same. But, you know, it's nice not having to look at, you know, that one, whatever color. Well, I don't even remember what the last floor looked like. So yeah, man, the stairs are just right there. I might as well just kill an enemy. Like, you know, satisfy my bloodlust. That was kind of a bad idea. I didn't show that fight, simply because I'm just going to show myself doing the exact same fight, except I play it much less pathetically. So, yeah. Normally I always like to show, like, the first time I encounter an enemy, but, like, you know, I think this one, it just... I'll show it again, this time without me sucking. So, yeah, so new floor, new enemies, gotta love it. So I think these are the exact same set of enemies. And yes, these guys. So the problem with these guys is they're null to, like, half of the elements, which is kind of annoying. You really can't do much to them. I mean, I can't use my Huapo, which is why I use Getsue. Getsue is an ability that gets stronger. Like, that it's a physical attack that has a full moon bonus, which means if you're on the full moon, it does, like, a ton more damage. The reason I used it, like, I pretty much use it over and over, well, because it's a pretty good physical attack as it stands, but also because, I'm actually not sure if Getsue gets a power-up. Like, full moon was just, like, 2 days ago, so I'm not sure if Getsue actually, like, gets stronger if it's closer to full moon, or if you have to be on full moon. So, like, I don't know if I'm actually getting a bonus out of it. I feel like I'm doing more damage than usual, because I'm so close to full moon, but maybe that just may be a placebo effect. Either or, Takemi Nakata, or Takemi Nazuchi, whichever one he is, still makes me null to electricity, so, you know, it's good to have him on hand anyways, and Yukari's gonna heal me. And because she has a spirit ring, she can do that for quite a while, because, you know, she has lots and lots of SP. And we're probably going to be picking up some level ups, just because, like, you know, they're actually giving us a decent amount of EXP now. So, you know, that's just nice. Can't pinpoint where it is, just go, yeah, just keep on going. Standard stuff. Again, we want to get this out of the way as soon as possible, so we can get back to our good old dating sim. I didn't even know that guy was there. Apparently I did when I was recording, though. Okay, just a lone chump. I almost feel sorry for the poor bastard. This guy's weak to either lightning or... Lightning or Garu. Wind, that's what it's called, yes. There you go. So, it's gone already. So that was nifty. That was less of a battle, more of a savage beating. But whatever. So, yeah, shuffle time. I wanted to say something back when I was fighting those towers, but it's too late for that now, I guess. Shadow shards. I have no idea what those are. I feel like they're a thing. Well, yes, everything's a thing. A big enemy, which just means it's made of a bunch of little chumps. These aren't chumps, actually. These are, snakes. The lustful snakes. These were the powerful enemies that we met that were on the previous block. This time they're just common enemies. I kind of like how they do that. I have no idea what these guys are weak to, so I'm just going to use Zio. Plus, I don't think I have Bufu. Luckily, Mitsuru has Bufu. You go, Mitsuru. Yeah, you use... Okay, Mitsuru, that's where you're being dumb. You could have used Bufu a lot twice, but, you know, whatever. Can't complain. I mean, if I was, you know, controlling you, that's what I'd do, but whatever. AI. AI is AI, you can't complain. Luckily, I have a Huapo to fight these guys. I have the feeling that these book guys actually use Mamudo. I think that's the word. Yeah, I think it's Mamudo, but you gotta be careful about that, because it's a devastating attack, and if Minato dies from chance, it's horrible. The thing about Mamudo, though, is it attacks everybody, and I'm pretty sure it's like a 25% chance of insta-kill, and if it attacks 4 people, then statistically, someone's gonna die. And that's kind of annoying. So, but you know, just kill them before that happens. Let me get Onyx. You can never go without Onyx. Onyx is like the best thing to drop. If every single enemy dropped Onyx, I'd be one happy Tartarus goer. Okay, more towers. These are dogmatic towers. Anytime I play a video game, I always like to look up vocabulary words I don't know, just because I hate, like, you know, when people say video games is like a crutch on your academics. So I looked up the word dogmatic. It means like roughly like when you state your opinion as if it's 100% true, which is a good word to know on the internet, because you know how that works. But like, are these towers really that dogmatic? Like, honestly, what about these towers make them dogmatic? There's nothing. These towers do not express opinions in the slightest. It's like they just, like, you know, plastered on an adjective to these towers just to make them, like, you know, an enemy. And I kind of just find that funny. But, you know, whatever. It's not that weird. It's just a weird adjective to give your enemies. And back there, I talked over the fact that the Junpei actually exploited weaknesses better than Mitsuru did, and Mitsuru used freaking Marin card. One of these is smarter than the other, I must say. Nah, but you gotta love Mitsuru. You might have noticed I also gave her the battle. What do you even... Was it the battle panties? I don't think that's what it was actually called. It was something along those lines, something saucy like that. It's the exact same thing I equipped on Yukari a few parts back, but now it's on Mitsuru. So that's lovely. She just looks absolutely lovely, doesn't she? And hilarious. So yeah. I keep on meaning to talk about, like, I don't know. It's pretty pointless. You'll notice that persona right there, we're actually not a high enough level to actually have, which is why it's in black, which is why it's blacked out. That kind of makes me scared. I don't like the fact that I'm considered under level for this point in the game. It makes me worried, but we get a golden chest for a weapon for Yukari that's actually better than the weapon she has now. Who would have thought that toy bow is finally out of commission, which is nice. Now we have like a legitimate weapon. So that's cool. Yes, and she, you know, compliments me because that's just what girls do when they get keen stuff like deadly bows. So moving on out again, we're just gonna, eventually I'll start cutting this when I encounter every single enemy I wanted to encounter. Keep in mind, I still don't encounter every enemy. I think there are some I actually miss, or don't get in recording, but whatever. So the reason we wanted a Pale Rider with double fangs is because these guys are weak to pierce damage. It's kind of a weird thing to be weak to, to be perfectly honest. Luckily, Yukari can actually, her natural attack is a pierce attack. Sadly, her AI keeps her from knocking down every single enemy because she's stupid. No, actually, I can't really be mad at that one, because I think the AI is actually programmed to not actually knock everyone down until they know for a fact that enemy is weak to pierce. Like, obviously, like, you attack the enemy and you know it's weak to pierce, but the AI won't actually know they're weak to pierce until Fuka actually scans them properly, and once they do, then they'll start exploiting the weaknesses. It's kind of a weird thing with the AI. You know, the more you dwell on it, the more you realize that it'd be really kind of nice if you could control them, but you know, whatever. It's part of the challenge, I guess. I mean, it's a cheap way of making challenge, but it is a challenge nonetheless. Speaking of challenge, these guys, glowy enemies, scare the shit out of me. So we're switching to Takumi Mizuchi. I always get him and Takumi Nakata confused. They're both Zio users, and they're both Takes, but one of them is just better than the other, I guess. So they're weak to Zio. I love how fast he says that. So because I'm so freaking scared of these guys, I'm gonna take them on like I would take on a tower boss fight, and, you know, just divide and conquer. I'm even gonna Tarun to them. Or apparently not. That's a bit too much. I'm gonna attack one at a time. I actually should have assigned my party members to use attack one at a time, but apparently I didn't do that. And it kind of sucks, because that guy was paralyzed, which means, like, oh god. They were paralyzed, which means if, like, anyone did a physical attack on them, they would get a critical hit 100% of the time. So that's unfortunate. Gonna knock him down because I'm not trying to kill him. And I miss! That's where you get nervous. Then they start using Rakukaja, and then things are gonna get longer. The reason these enemies scare me so much when I fight them is because, as you saw what they did with Yukari, they one-shotted him. They one-shotted her at full health. They can pretty much one-shot any of your party members at full health, and that scares the shit out of me. Because if he attacks Minato, then Minato is done. Like, there's nothing you can do about that, and so, you know, it's just not something you want to die from. Like, something you can't, like, not die from. I mean, sure, you could use, like, you'd be clipped, to put it simply. But whatever, they have not too much health for, like, you know, as strong as they are. Almost glass cannons. That's a dirty lie. They actually have a decent amount of health. So now we actually know what they're weak to. I mean, we knew all along, because I think the reason I know what they're weak to is because these guys actually killed me, and I had to re-record this whole Tartarus part. So, you know, nothing wrong with actually knowing what you're doing when you're coming into a game. This isn't blind, after all. And that was kind of risky using a physical move instead of Zio. If it, like, not killed him, I could have been dead. And Yukari's still dead. I forgot to actually bring her back to life. Or, more probably, I probably didn't have time to bring her back to life. But we get 2 greasy gears from that, which is, you know, Elizabeth's quest item. Luckily, unfortunately, it's only 2. Which means we need to kill another set of them before we have 3 and can actually complete the mission. But whatever, we got a silver saber out of that ordeal. A weapon I'll probably never ever use ever. That's keen. I'll probably sell it. Or who knows, maybe I can give it to Mitsuru. I completely forget sometimes that Mitsuru uses the exact same weapons that Minato does. I mean, everyone uses the exact same weapons Minato does, technically, because Minato can do everything. But because I, you know, keep Minato as sword users, typically Mitsuru and Minato have the same weapons. That's pretty logical. So these guys, these are the last enemies I showed before I actually, you know, cut off. I freaking hate this dog. So, the first, they actually went first, and they just spammed more Garula. You can see how that would completely screw me over. There I'm, like, everybody's almost dead. And the worst part about these guys is they actually fight, they're weak to Mudo skills. If I haven't explained this, Dark and Light Magic are attacks that, have a probability of just instantly killing your enemy, which sounds nifty, right? But the problem is, as you probably know with any RPG, is this is a chance, which means, statistically, it sometimes just doesn't work, even when they're weak to it. If they're weak to it, it doesn't mean it's always going to work, it just means they're more likely to die to it, which is just something I do not want to rely on, because if you miss, then you just have an enemy who's taken absolutely no damage, and then you're going to be clipped. See, if I actually missed on the first enemy, then they would have all spammed Magurula, and I would be dead. So, you know, you're really playing with probability when you do this. I'll be right back. These dogs are being really annoying. So, yeah, back. Again, this is why I really, really don't like Dark Magic, or Light Magic too, because it follows the same principle. Is that you get your hopes up into it, it misses, and you die, and then things just totally aren't fun. And then the enemies use, like, you know, like Light and Dark Magic every now and then, and kills you. And then that's really not fun. Well, whatever, we actually, because this is a new floor, we have new tiered level 4 cards. I think that's new. It might not be new. I feel like it is new. Who cares? So the Tartarus barrier is at floor 71. I'm sorry, floor 72. We're on floor 71 right now. So, you know, the ending is just right there. I'm just too afraid to go into a fight right now, because if I died, that would totally suck. But whatever, so we made it to the barrier. The next part we'll actually be fighting the, you know, the mini-bosses on the barrier. But for now, I'm just gonna end it off here. 3 mini-bosses, 3 shadows, rather. That's what they're called, of course. Until next time. So the next time we'll be fighting those enemies. So until then, this has been skittflash. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Bye!